Hello everyone, welcome to our session today. So today we'll have a look at top mistakes in salary packaging arrangements. All right. Before we go to the main content of the session, please be advised the information provided is for general guidance only and should not be construed as personalized tax advice. We strongly recommend consulting a qualified tax advisor or planner before implementing any tax planning strategies. Please also note that we're not licensed financial planners or legal professionals and do not provide financial product or legal advice. For tailored investment or legal guidance, please consult a licensed financial planner or a qualified legal expert. All right, let's have a look. So the top one mistake, not seeking professional advice. Of course, that's the main purpose of today's session. So basically, before you enter salary packaging arrangement, it's always highly recommended consult with a tax planner. We have experienced so many clients when they come to us, we realize, okay, the packaging is actually incorrect or they end up paying more tax through salary packaging. Okay. And then, so that's always highly recommended. Also, FBT tax is very complicated area in tax law, and always better to talk to us if it's anything FBT related. All right. All right. Okay, packaging non-eligible items. So mainly the eligible items should give you a tax concession, or maybe there are tax exempt items. Okay. Uh, there could be items that's exempt for the employer, but not to the employee. That's where you can salary package. Okay. Or say for concessional super contribution, it's actually tax exempt. So there have to be a tax exemption involved, yeah, before you can have an effective salary packaging arrangement. So the mistake is including items not allowed under ATO rules. Okay, examples, home mortgage repayments, personal loans, okay, all other private items that are not exempt from tax law, excluding employees working for FBT exempt entities. So there are entities that's actually FBT, fringe benefit tax exempt, potentially hospitals, aged care. Okay. So some entities or some charity organizations, they actually have partial or full FBT exemption. Okay. So then you can double check. Of course, there's a capped amount per employee. Okay, depending on what entity you work for. So talk to us first if you do work for a FBT tax exempt entity. Okay, so you only need to include the ATO allowed benefits, okay, in your salary packaging arrangement. Okay, number three, ineffective salary packaging. Okay, it happens a lot with novated lease arrangement, unless if it's electric car. Electric cars got a big exemption at the moment. Yeah, you can save a lot of tax. And then salary packaging, electric car is actually a good choice. You can definitely achieve tax saving through that. Okay. But what happened before is when someone salary package a car and who's actually not paying 47%. There's a lot of so the calculation, a big part of the calculation, a common taxpayer might not know is the tax that is actually transferred from employer to employee when you're signing a novated lease arrangement. So if your marginal tax rate is not 47%, you are basically almost like changing it to 47% for you and end up paying more tax potentially. So you need to be very careful. Okay, make sure that you avoid packaging non-FBT exempt items. And if you're not, unless if you're employed by an FBT exempt entity, and so that you can also make sure that the item you package again is eligible item, and then um, understand how equity is calculated so that you're not end up paying more tax. All right, overlooking reportable fringe benefit. This is actually one major mistake a lot of people forget. Most people believe, okay, if I don't pay tax on an item, it's all exempt from any other calculations or payments. That's actually not true. So even though, let's use electric car as an example. If it's salary packaged, okay, of course, it's fully FBT exempt. You don't pay any income tax on the car, but there will be a reportable benefit reported. Okay, that's a part of your annual income. It's going to be sent to ATO. The government will know, even though you don't pay tax on that amount, but it's included in your Centrelink benefits calculations as a part of your income test. Okay, this is actually some knowledge a lot of people don't know. And actually, when you get caught, it's already too late. All right, so be very careful on the reportable benefit. Also, one other thing, people believe if sometimes they have a misconception. If I contribute more to my super fund, then my Centrelink benefit could increase. That's not true. Okay, because when you report to super fund or if your employer top up your super contribution, okay, that's also a part of your reportable benefit. It's still included in your income test for your Centrelink benefits. All right, so this is important. All right, number 5, not reviewing arrangements annually. Okay, the mistake is leaving packaging plans unchanged for years. Impact, missed tax savings, outdated, or inefficient benefits. Okay, a couple of typical examples. 1st of July 2024, our tax rates changed. Okay, so especially for people who's earning between 120K to 135K. Okay, last year you were in a different bracket. Okay, then when your tax rate changed a lot, or suddenly you earn the same salary, but for the marginal tax rate, you actually move to a different bracket, then you actually need to consider changing or updating your salary packaging arrangement accordingly. Yeah, so that you can maximize your tax savings. And then another example, towards the end of year, you actually need to double check how much super guarantee, okay, basically super contribution, your employer has contributed to your super fund, and how much you should top it up. If you already organized salary arrangement, salary sacrifice to super, you also need to have a look. Did you overpay the concessional super amount for the year? Because if you do, you'll be penalized with a higher tax. Okay, so it's actually defeated the purpose of tax saving, okay, on your salary packaging arrangement to contribute to the super fund. All right, that's some example. So you actually need to monitor how much you earn. Okay, if you have a pay rise, the super guarantee amount from your employer will change. So that's going to reduce the amount left in the concessional super contribution cap to yourself to contribute. If you leave that amount unchanged, you might exceed the total amount. All right, so you need to regularly review your super concessional arrangements, okay, or salary packaging. So of course, that's actually applicable to all type of salary packaging. Okay, double check to make sure that it's still effective. All right. Number 6, failing to communicate with payroll. People always feel that the payroll officers are smart enough or they're diligent enough to help you or inform you on salary packaging arrangement. Unfortunately, it's not a part of their job, especially when there's only a small team of payroll officers managing hundreds or maybe thousands of people. Yeah, if it's a big organization. So it's not possible for all payroll officers to monitor your salary packaging arrangement. So make sure that you double check with them or follow up with them when you need to change your salary packaging arrangement. Okay. All right, that's everything I wanted to mention. Yeah, of course. Quick summary and best practice. Always get professional advice and follow ATO guidelines. Communicate with payroll, document, and review annually on your salary packaging arrangement. All right, that's everything I wanted to mention in today's session. A quick summary of a brief introduction about myself. Also, our contact details are here. If you have any questions, let us know or drop us an email. Thank you very much for joining us in today's session. We'll talk to you in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.